Welcome back to the Five. So Republican presidential candidates are shocked, mind you, the Democratic operatives are filming their campaign events looking for political gas. Welcome to the big leagues, boys and girls. The practice of filming political opponents has been going on for 3 decades. Why? Because the film can often catch a candidate saying things that might embarrass their campaigns or at times end them. That's what we're in the business of doing. Republican presidential candidates better get used to this tactic because everything they say will probably be filmed by the Democrats. Oh, by the way, Republicans use exactly the same tactic. So don't feel sorry for the Republican candidates, but think about the poor Democratic operative who needs to spend his days filming Mitt Romney or Tim Pawlenty. Talk about torture. Are these candidates so naive that this comes as a shock to them? And whoever did that read before about, oh, this terrible, embarrassing, that was you, I think.
That was me.
Welcome to the real world yourself, sir.
Bob, how low can you go? You have people chasing candidates around with a video camera just waiting for them to, what, I don't know, pick their nose or drop something or come out with their zipper open in the men's room. Please, there's only one job lower than that, Greg, and it's probably what you pointed out yesterday, the Media Matters job, where they have to sit in the room and watch Fox all day, listen, see if they can find something crazy that we
I mean, in a weird way, we are creating an army. It's not just, it's not among politicians, but everybody is filming everybody thanks to camera phones wherever you go. You got that incident with Paul Ryan where he ordered a bottle of wine, and that woman, Susan Feinberg, she was an economist, was sitting at another table, saw that he was drinking an expensive wine, took pictures, and then went to a blog and had them write about it, about how insane it was that he was drinking an expensive bottle of wine. But here's the main point. She did it on her birthday. Imagine what she did on her honeymoon.
Okay, listen.
What a horrible life.
I want to respond to that. I'm going to respond to that too. But Dana, can you please fill these people who obviously have not been involved in campaigns, these two, that this happens on occasion?
Well, of course it happens, and in fact it happened to a senatorial candidate out of Virginia, Governor Allen, who was running for Senate.
Running for re-election.
Running for re-election, right? And then, and now he's running for Senate, excuse me. But he, so he was followed around by this young guy. He called him macaca. It turned into this huge story. I remember getting a call from
Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. You got the macaca. There you go.
Ideas. And it's important that we motivate and inspire people for something. This fellow here over here with the yellow shirt, Macaca, or whatever his name is, he's with my opponent.
I mean, honestly,
you know,
honestly, and I had a political consultant call me about 3 days later and say, do you really think that was a big deal? I'm like, yeah, that was a big deal.
Yeah,
and I think every candidate has to realize that you're always on it. But it's not just candidates. It's anyone in the public eye.
Anybody.
Yeah, but you know,
right. It could be anybody. Bob, you. I mean, if someone followed you around,
but not only
Bob,
that,
imagine if this was 20 years ago.
Around, it would be,
imagine if it was 20 years ago. It would sound like the Boston Pops at the 4th of July. The things you were doing 20 years ago, if we had camera phones, oh my God, it would be Bob Beckel 24/7.
Can I remind you guys
prancing around half naked?
Let me remind you of one thing as well. It's not just people following you around. You're always on camera, and one of my favorites is it's not just candidates, right? Well, Republican candidates. President Obama on the campaign trail, his teleprompter failed during a town hall meeting, and he's talking about health care, and he absolutely gets lost. It's the most embarrassing video I've ever seen. Then he had the 57 states thing, and so everywhere you go, everything you do, everything you say, including probably
this. But there's such a double standard when it comes to Democrats, when it comes to
I don't think so.
Out of here, double standard. Every one of my candidates I ever had was filmed by the Republicans.
This is high-level stalking. The money that George Soros is funneling to have these Republican candidates
That's just because you get stalked on a regular basis. That's not the point. The idea, if you don't tape your opponent...
Greg, it's not stalking because we're friends, right?
Yeah, and I'm not even being paid for it, which is kind of sad.
Listen, if you do not film your opponent, it is you might as well not be in the business.
Clarify that, Bob. Dana pointed out, Mr. Allen, these are people who are campaigning, they're speaking. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people following candidates around in their personal lives.
This is what I'm talking about.
To say something stupid in a restaurant.
Okay, let me just point this out. Why this is costly for Allen. When Allen did that, he was up by about 12 points in the polls. Yep. He went on to lose because his campaign bogged down over this very issue for a month. He went on to lose by less than 10,000 votes. It matters what you say in public, and that's why you have people there filming. You know what I used to do? When I did it, I used to have what I really wanted to catch was I had a guy, and I always said, when you're in there with the camera, make sure they know who you are, right? Because I don't want them to think there was. And once they find out, there's usually the thugs who try to throw them out. So I have a secret camera in there, capturing them, beating up on my photographer, and then I run an ad saying they're a bunch of thugs. Now, what's wrong with that?
You're a real pro.
I mean, you know, if you want to resort to those tactics, can you imagine if we walked around here with video cameras?
That sounds pretty desperate.
If we've been videotaping.
You know, politics is not beanbag. I mean, you know, this is a game. It's a tough business.
I know. I've worked on plenty of campaigns myself, Bob. I get it. I'm just saying they have a lot of money that they're pumping into this campaign. I actually feel sorry for Michelle Bachmann and Mitt Romney. They're going to be stalked, flossing their teeth, as Eric said.
There's some creepy. I mean, there are creepy lines that you cross. The Joe McGinnis moving next door to Palin, that is creepy. Yeah. But I think the politicians should use this to their advantage and stage things like a fake mugging, where you break up a mugging. Why don't politicians do that?
Actually, they've done that before. But Greg, how would you like to be given the assignment of following Mitt Romney for months?
He has great hair. Huh? I could learn something about how to do my hair from him.
Look, if you're an unemployed, underemployed person, you're probably going to take the job.
Yeah, but I mean, what a painful thought.
I wouldn't want to do it, but somebody
I get back to this. Let's not kid ourselves. Both sides do it. They've been doing it for a long time. I did it in virtually every campaign I had, and once in a while, we used them in ads, but more importantly, we used them. Most, you know what they were used for, really, just so you know. So if they said one thing on one position in one place and then changed it in another, we would then take that and turn it over to the media.
But there's a famous one where John Kerry voted for it before he voted against it. That was actually a kid on the Bush campaign was looking through that video and said, wait a second. And he caught that, and then that defined the entire campaign, and I think helped Bush win re-election.
I think you're exactly right.
Is any of this stuff ever used for blackmail?
What?
Is it any of this stuff that you've done ever used for
blackmailing anyone?
I mean, somebody tried to blackmail me, yes.
No, hypothetically, if you could stuff that they find be used against a candidate to get him to drop out?
No, because they're saying it in public events. I mean, this is not. Let's make clear. We don't sneak into their bedrooms. And first of all, could you imagine sneaking into Mitt Romney's bedroom? Would you like to do that? Boy, that would be a great show.
Not yet. They're not sneaking.
All right, look, we have to get out of here on that. With all due respect, Smith. Coming up next on the 5, did the First Lady bite off more than she could chew at a recent visit to a burger joint? Oh yeah, and is she going against her? Sorry, folks. Let's move campaign to end childhood obesity. And if you want to share your thoughts on any of today's topics, email us at the5@foxnews.com. That's a URL, right? More on the 5 next.
You need Obama to help you with that.